What's up, guys? It's your man, Donovan Sharpe, and welcome to the special Saturday edition of TSR Live, your daily dose of red pill truth, wisdom, and awareness. I guess we can call this particular episode TSR Weekends. So I guess TSR Weekends. If I do it at night, it's TSR Prime Time, et cetera, et cetera. But it is good to have you guys in today. Looks like it's Saturday, May 16th of 2020. Thank you guys for making the time and watching the show today. TSR Live, as always, is brought to you by Gorilla Mind Rush, the #1 non-habit forming energy and focus supplement on the market. Be hyper productive and laser focused for hours with zero crash, zero energy. If you want to support your productivity and support the show, go to donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Again, that is donovansharpe.com/Gorilla Mind Rush. Also, be sure to get your hands on my free ebook, 16 Ways to Immediately Disqualify Her for a Long-Term Relationship. It is absolutely free. All you need to do is go to donovansharpe.com/newsletter, and the book is yours. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce my guest, Danny Chen. Now, Danny, you actually called in. And first of all, man, thank you very much for making time to come on and tell your story today, man. I really, really appreciate it.
The pleasure's all mine, my brother. The pleasure's all mine.
Absolutely. So you called in, and I can't remember exactly when, but you called into my show recently, and you sort of told you gave me, I guess, the Cliff Notes version of your red pill story. So before getting into, I suppose, the meat and potatoes of it, why did you decide to do this show with me today? And I forget who reached out to. I think I might have reached out to you and asked you, hey, like, I'd love for you to come on. Why do you feel like it's important for men like you to do shows like this?
It's important, because we as young men in America are sold a bill of goods that you will study hard, you're going to go to the right school, you're going to get the right career, you're going to go to the right church, you're going to buy the house in the right neighborhood, you're going to marry the right girl, and you're going to live happily ever after. Well, the dynamic here in the United States has changed so much that we men still following that paradigm, that set, those gates that we have to hit. We're still doing it. The women are not doing it for various reasons. Third wave feminism, empowerment movement, want to have their cake and eat it too. But we are still doing our traditional roles, while the women are less and less doing those roles, and it's being reflected in the marriage numbers that are absolutely plummeting, and the divorce numbers going up. So I'm here with you because you're doing the Lord's work. You're part of my daily dose of red pill, in addition to old Lycus episodes. And good. I go ahead and you have helped me out immensely. And if my story can help any of these young men, what they're going through, then I'm here for that.
Excellent. Listen, I could not have put that any better myself. So let's start off with some basic questions. How old are you now, and how old were you when you found the red pill?
I'll be 54 in August.
Okay.
And I discovered the red pill this is 2020. I remember it was in June of 2017. Now, how do I remember that so much? Because I'm calling you right now from Abu Dhabi. It's going on midnight from May 16th to May 17th.
Oh, okay. So it's May 17th over there, huh?
Yep, in a few minutes. And I was working here on a team with some highly professional men. And one of my dearest friends was a retired SEAL. And I didn't know this, but in the SEAL community, in the Special Forces community, divorce rates in the SEALs are about 90%. So this guy was going through a wretched divorce.
90%?
90% in the SEAL community alone.
Holy shit. Guys, think about what he just said there. In the Navy SEAL, Navy SEALs, when they're married, the divorce rate is 90%. This means 9 out of 10 marriages that involves a Navy SEAL will end in divorce. Dude, listen, that's astonishing.
And that gets repeated in the other special ops branches of service. Army Rangers, Green Beret, Delta Force, Marine Force Recon. Wow. And it's just par for the course. This SEAL came to me, and we're talking over drinks, and he said, you need to Google MGTOW. And I looked at him like he was a nut. I said, what is it? And I Googled it, and I stumbled across Tom Likas. And I said, how did I not know this man existed for the past 20 years? And that started it.
Yeah, Tom Likas has been around for a while, and I don't. It's interesting. I haven't really listened to much of him. I've heard him. I've heard him a few times, but a lot of people say that my content is a lot like Tom Likas. Guys, if you have any questions for DC, just put them in the chat, man. Put them in the chat. And he'll listen. I'm sure that he'll do his very best to answer.
I'll take them all covered. No question is off limits.
No questions barred. I just saw. So Nonstop Dre 360 says the Marines red pilled the hell out of me. I'm happy I discovered it at 18 while enlisted. That is super important, Danny. And again, before we get into your story, you just brought up a great point. In all branches of special ops, special forces, military, the divorce rates are through the roof. That also is reflected in the regular armed forces, Army, Marine,
Correct.
Navy, Air Force, et cetera, et cetera. What do you attribute to aside from the obvious feminism, what do you attribute besides feminism, I guess in conjunction with feminism, is the reason for the super high divorce rate in the military?
I just finished 32 years in the Marines. I enlisted in the Marine Corps in 1987. There was a recruiting station at Broad and Cherry Street in Philly, where the Philadelphia Convention Center is right now. There was a little recruiting station. Yeah. And I enlisted there my third year at Howard University because I always wanted to be a Marine. My dad was a Marine. My stepfather was a Marine. My sister went into the Marines. She married a Marine. So it's all in our family. But I was the first really career one. And I would say there was an old anecdote that in the old Corps, a Marine went in to Chesty Puller and he said he wanted to get married. And he said, son, if the Marines wanted you to have a wife, they would have issued you one. Because back in the day, you had to go to your commanding officer, your first sergeant, you had to get commission, you had to get permission. And that mentorship, that guidance is lacking now. So often folks will come out 17, 18, 19, bless their heart. They will put up their right hand. They will enlist in the armed forces. They'll go to their post, might be the first time away from home.
Right.
They'll get homesick. And then they'll think about Susie back at home, their high school sweetheart, baby, let's get married. They'll move out in town. They'll make a little bit of extra money. They travel a little bit. But like you said, these boys aren't 35 and haven't had their 35 partners.
Nope.
That lack of experience and the operational tempo, the moving around.
Yeah.
Whenever people are apart, like Tom Likas always said, there's no such thing as long distance relationship. It's two people, and one of them, if not both, are having sex with other people on a different end.
Yes.
And that happens a lot, and that will break down. The strongest marriages will either come closer together or they'll break apart. But as 75% of the women are the ones filing for divorce, as in my case, when I married my wife, she knew I was in the Marine Corps.
Right.
And the guy she dated before me went to the Marine Corps also. He was a Naval Academy guy. So she knew the op tempo. But that's what I would attribute it to. That's a long story.
It's interesting. There are women who specifically target men in the military. And they do this on purpose because they go after these new enlistees. Listen, boys who have no idea how to handle women, how to handle money. They go to boot camp and they become these men, and boot camp trains them how to handle everything except for women. And women specifically, and the thing is women don't like military men. They don't really love them. No, they like the security that the military offers. You marry a military man, you're never going to be broke. I don't know, you might be broke, never going to be homeless. You get to see the world, you get to travel, you get to do and see places and things that most people just don't have the opportunity to do and see. And oh, by the way, you get the prestige of being a military wife. Talk to my guys. If anybody's in the military, talk to my young guys about, the perils of women who target specifically military men.
And I want to make the distinction. Let's focus on the youth and not necessarily the educational level, because you'll have young men, 17, 18, 19, 20, who will come out of high school and enlist. You have other young men, 17, 18, 19, 20, who go to the Naval Academy or the Air Force Academy, do their 4 years, come out as an officer. The Naval Academy is might as well be akin to a low-level federal penitentiary. You
Wow.
can't have fun. You can't hoe around. You can't have a car. They get that little bit of freedom, and then they'll run into Susie, who went to Vanderbilt or went to UGA or went to Howard, who
Right.
looks really pretty, and she has this nice academy ring on, and she says, "Ah, I've got my just like the old movie, An Officer and a Gentleman."
Mm.
They're called stereotypes because they're true.
That's right.
And
Stereotypes are called stereotypes for a reason, man.
an old mentor of mine, a fantastic brother from Louisville, Kentucky, went to the Naval Academy, one of the few blacks to go to the Naval Academy in the 70s. And they used to have parties at the Naval Academy where young debutante society women, daughters from the community, will be brought into Annapolis to meet these young midshipmen to pair them up
Wow.
in order for them to court and marry.
Jesus.
So you take the courtship part out of it. So there are young lieutenants and ensigns, and there's young privates and young airmen first class who are coming out, and they're getting latched upon because, like you said, on the 1st and the 15th, you get paid.
That's right.
You have your housing allowance and you have your full medical. She can have kids, and they're going to live in a nice house in Hawaii,
Yep.
in South Korea, Okinawa, Japan, Florida. Who wouldn't want that to get out of Muskogee, Oklahoma?
Listen, right. Listen, military life was great. I mean, my dad and my brother were in the military. My dad was in the military for almost 30 years. And dude, being a military kid is awesome. When we lived in we lived in a 5-bedroom house when we lived in Hawaii. It was this palatial, it was like living a dream. It's like being on vacation all the time. Now, of course, when you're 11, 12 years old, you don't really have that kind of introspection. But even as a kid, I realized how good a life that we had. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. Take me from step one, the event or the events that led you to the red pill, and then take it from there, how your life has changed since then.
I consider myself always to be a smart person. I went to Howard University. I majored in history. I minored in Russian. I was a career Marine Corps officer. I did communications. It deals with all the computers, all the networks, the subsystems. I got my master's equivalency at Marine Corps Command and Staff College as a young major.
Wow.
I was a field historian for Marine Corps History Division, where I wrote a book for the Marine Corps talking about Marine Corps history. I'm a man of letters. Even before that, my dad, when I was 5 years old, we left West Philadelphia. We moved to Accra, Ghana when I was 5, 1971.
Okay.
Spent 5 years overseas, came back to Philadelphia, finished high school, West Catholic, went down to Howard University. So I considered myself a smart cookie. I came from a good family. I had good breeding. My parents were in the right social strata. We didn't want for anything.
Right.
And you are programmed to do these things. And I had a mentor of mine who was a big time lawyer in DC when I was in college, says when you're 29, you have to get married, because that's when a man should do it. Not the 35-35 rule, just a nebulous thing. 29, you have to get married.
Wow.
But when I went to the Marine Corps, I enlisted in the Marine Corps, and then I went to become an officer. The one of my buddies said, "You're going into Marines, Dan. Don't get married. Start your career off right." But essentially, the bad divorce that I went through, I was a red pill man before I knew it. But when the marriage collapsed, I became the biggest simp there was to save my marriage. I took advice from women. I went back. I was taking advice from the church.
Oh my God.
I was going. Good buddy of mine was a pastor at one of the churches that I went to, and him and his wife came in, and we had a big conversation with my wife. We're trying to make things right, and you're feeding you all that garbage about what to do to save it. So I was utterly destroyed and broken down. The biggest simp in the writing, love notes, cooking, whatever she wanted, and all throughout our marriage, I would make 2 to 3 times more than her.
Of course.
But I did all the housework. I'm anal. I love cooking and cleaning. My mother taught me. She said, "Danny, you never have to rely on a woman. I'm gonna teach you how to cook and clean." I did all that. Plus coaching youth athletics, volunteering in the community, raising our sons. We adopted a daughter, all that stuff. But it wasn't enough. Gentlemen, you can never do enough for her. You cannot make a woman happy. trips, jewelry, getting nails done, buying a fancy car. You cannot ever, ever satisfy a woman, no matter what you give her. And you lose yourself in the process. And I lost myself until, like I said, my good buddy, the CEO, said, look up MGTOW. I don't consider myself MGTOW now. I'm a red pill, because red pill is all encompassing and in my own philosophy. And that's why I'm here now. And it was a long, getting divorced, raped at the family courts, losing all that money to lawyers, being kept away from my children. But the good news is I'm on the other side. I'm doing fantastic. My life is great. Success is the best revenge. I'm doing better than her.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Big thanks goes out to the Pimped Out Geese with the $5 super chat. Says, can't wait to hear your origin story. Thank you for your 32 years of service. You are a legend, Danny. I appreciate that. Thank you for that. Rob Cruz with the $10 super chat says, salute, sir. 25 years in the United States Marine Corps. Just retired in February. 1st Battalion, 2nd Marines, USMC 0369. Always felt the United States Marine Corps, with all their rules, somehow makes a simps.
We're going to go back to that.
Sure. Yeah, go ahead.
Brother Rob, you hit the nail on the head, because when a Marine marries and you bring that woman into the Marine community, you live on base or you don't live on base, you're under a separate set of rules called the Uniform Code of Military Justice. So I can be prosecuted for crimes or malfeasance by the civilian police, but then there's your own rules on base you have to follow.
Right.
In addition, like outside, they have child protective services. Here on the base, they have Marine community services. So if you and the wife have an argument, a nosy neighbor will call Marine community services, and they'll send out the social workers who will take the child away, and you have to stay in the barracks. The wife can do what's called a military protective order against you. It's not a restraining order in front of any judge. She can just tell the commander, I don't feel safe around him. And that military protective order, and you have to stay 1,000 feet away from her, from your home, from your children. Now, this is all based in administrative. There's nothing in judicial or penal laws on it. You are presumed guilty until innocent.
And keep this in mind, Danny, she's not the one in the military. You're the husband. The serviceman is the one serving the country, yet all of your rights and privileges as far as your children go are stripped away because a civilian made an accusation or said she doesn't feel safe. That is astounding. I had no idea that happened.
Yes, she can call the military police. They'll show up, and you're sitting there minding your business. She says, he raised his voice at me. He raised his hand at me. And he could be a corporal. I could be a major. Said, sir, you're going to have to leave the house. We'll call your command. I have to stand in front of my commander. And even if it's completely false, in the back of his mind, he's wondering, is like, I've got enough things to worry about. They're just the commander. And now I got one of my officers who can't even control his own household.
Right.
So you've got that sword of Damocles hanging over you. And that's why when Rob says it makes us some simps, is because you gotta get along, and you gotta go along in order to get along. You don't want to rock the boat in this Marine Corps pressure cooker family of having that bad family.
Dude, I had no idea that a woman could do that. And my guess is that it's probably the same in all of the other branches. Yes. Air Force, Navy, all they have to do is call somebody. I don't feel safe around my husband who is serving our country, the man who is responsible for why we are here, for why I'm here living this life. Please have him removed. What happens to the serviceman when where does he, do they put him in the barracks? What happens?
Yeah, exactly. He'll have to go to the barracks or stay at a friend's house.
Jesus.
And in the case of me, my wife and I divorced, and it was finalized in 2017, July 2017. We're coming up on 3 years now. After the divorce was finished, I'm over here overseas working, minding my own business. I'm paying my alimony, my vagina-mony, as Tom Likas says it. I'm paying my child support. I'm starting to stack some cash, but there were still some administrative things I had to take care of with the Marine Corps that took time and money away. So when I returned home to the United States in between contracts, She put a military protective order on me that I could not go near my kids. It was completely unfounded. Completely.
That is incredible. Shout out to Kaidown with the 15-pound super chat. I appreciate that. Some guy says, salute, former 6-year squid here. I shot a 238 on my M9 service pistol and a 200 on the M16. I guess that's good.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
Pretty good.
All right.
Thanks, mate.
Listen, I was a military kid. I was a military brat, but I was never in the military. Broken Man asks a very interesting question. He says, why do you think suicide is so high with our servicemen? That's a tough one.
It is a tough one, and I've thought about it a lot. Now let's back up a little bit. Because the rate is so high, every year we have to do suicide prevention training in addition to our LGBT training and our cultural awareness training, in addition to our combat training. We have all these other training that we have to do.
Wow.
So
Jesus.
There was a speaker who came in to Quantico, and I didn't know if you know this, but the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco was like the most popular suicide spot in the world.
No, I did not know that.
Google, there's a movie called The Bridge where these filmmakers set up cameras, motion activated cameras all over the Golden Gate Bridge, because people from all over the world would just jump. You just see somebody jump and you hear a splash, a splash, a splash. Not a lot of coverage came to it. But there was one guy, like 2,000 people a year go to it. And San Francisco refuses to put up gates because it'll affect the aesthetics of the beautiful bridge.
Okay.
There was a bloke who jumped off the Golden Gate Bridge and survived.
Oh, what? How?
He came to speak. I don't know. He came and spoke to us at the Base Theater at Quantico for our suicide prevention.
Jesus.
So I bring this up to say that we in the military get 10 times the amount of suicide training and awareness that civilians do. But why are so many of us donking ourselves off? And I looked up the numbers.
Right.
The main reason is relationships.
Of course.
Not, I saw horrible things in Iraq. Not, they shot me up with some drugs and my brain isn't right. Not, I can't deal with the pain of my injuries. But the interpersonal relationships, not with their coworkers, but with a significant other.
There are few things in this world that can bring even the strongest men to his knees, and women is the number one thing. Women are more, and listen, if you know how to handle women, they can be very, very good for you. You can live a very good life with a very good woman. But at the end of the day, if you don't know how to handle women, man, it can get sideways pretty quickly.
And that's what you're teaching me right now. I'm still learning, fellas. I'll be 54, but I'm still learning from Donovan.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. Kai down with another 2-pound super chat. I certainly appreciate that. Let me ask you this. Give me a second here, because I actually had. So let's switch gears here. What led to your divorce? What was the event or series of events that led to the divorce? Did you file? Did she file? How did that happen?
I filed.
How long were you married before you guys got divorced?
So we married in June of 95.
Okay.
And I did everything right in that I was at Howard and I met on paper, a fantastic African-American woman from Northern Virginia who had a degree from a very prestigious Virginia school. And I met her family, and her family reminded me of my family that I grew up with in Philly. And they were very nice to me.
She checked off all the boxes.
She cooked. She was long-legged. She made me wait 3 weeks before I got the peace leave, as Coach Greg Adams says.
All right, yes, absolutely.
And we courted each other. We met in 92. We courted for 2 years and were engaged for a year. And then we got married in 95. And everything started off right. But as a cautionary tale, gentlemen, when you get married, all you get is one piece of paper, which is the certificate. When we got divorced, I had a 18-page marital separation agreement enumerating all the wills and shalls. You will do this. You shall do that. That type of contract is not given prior to a marriage to enumerate all the will and shall duties that you will perform. Some people may call that a prenup, and then a woman's hackles go up. But you're going to get that postnup, which is going to take you to the cleaners for 18 years of child support and the vagina money that comes after it. Everything started off fine. We're taking trips. We had the nice suburban house in Northern Virginia. I did my first 3 years in the Marine Corps and became a consultant. And then September 11th happened. I got pulled on back to active duty.
Of course, yeah.
We had our first child at 3 years into the marriage. Then we had another child 3 years after that. Two strong, beautiful boys. God bless them. They're red-pilled already.
Oh, thank God. How old are they?
21 and 18, going to be 22 and 19.
That is doing it right. That is fucking right. Good job.
My little boy, I sent him, they both read Aaron Clary's Bachelor Pad Economics, and I sent The Rational Male along with David Goggins' book to my little boy who's 18. He's a stud football player for a nice D1 program in North Carolina.
Okay.
And the other boy's a content creator out in LA.
Excellent.
So I was doing everything. We lived in the right neighborhood and in the upper class Black intelligentsia of Northern Virginia, Loudoun County, Prince William County, Fairfax County, eight of the top 10 richest counties in America, all around DC because of the federal government.
No. Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And all the contracting firms and all that.
Oh, sure.
We went to the right church where her and her mom went. We got married in that church. We had the right car. We lived in the right zip code. From the outside, everything was great.
You did everything right. You played by the rules.
Everything right. Everything right. And there was infidelity on both sides.
Okay.
But those are the type of things, will it bring a marriage together or bring it apart? And I would say that I was always taught by my father, if you fuck up, you make amends and you make it right. I made amends. I made it right. I said, I'm redoubling my efforts. I got rid of my friends that were garbage. I switched churches, wink, found a new church close by.
Of course.
Redid everything. Went into therapy, doing all those things. I remember when Eric Benet split up from Halle Berry because he was a sex addict and went into therapy. All that stuff. Kirk Franklin was a sex addict, went into therapy. Everybody. I thought I was doing the right thing. That was me turning into the simp.
Right.
And while she said, listen, I am going to go ahead and reciprocate, she didn't. And I warned her and I said, listen, she would always ask, well, why did you do what you did? I says, well, why do we sin? Because it feels good. It's a slippery slope. I said, whatever you do not do what I did. Don't go do the revenge F, because you're going to do it. You're going to get away with it. You're going to like it. You're going to do it again. It's going to be destruction. I told her, by me coming clean to you, you saved my life, because I'm going to redouble my efforts and make everything right. Her case, she decided at 35, 40 years old to act like a 20-year-old who just rediscovered sex all over again.
Wow.
I'm home with the kids Friday, Saturday nights doing what I'm supposed to do. And then she's happy hour out in the Northern Virginia Black folk party happy hour late night crowd is what lured her in. And I was being the simp, doing everything right, house clean, this and that. And I'm thinking in my mind, let her get sexy and go out and dance with her friends as long as she comes back to bed with me.
Right.
If she goes out and dances with a guy and she's nice and cool,
right there.
She'll come back to me.
Listen, what you just said there is 100% correct. There are so many guys that justify their wife or girlfriend's bad behavior. Listen, I don't care if she flirts with other guys. I don't care if she goes to the bar or the club. She's coming home to me.
Exactly.
Bruh, listen, it ain't going down like that, man. She might be coming home to you, but it might be 2:00 in the morning, right? I've never understood why men willfully put their relationships at risk just to prove that they trust their women. The answer to that is that they're afraid to not trust their women. Any man who says, no, you're not going to the bar, they go, oh my God, are you insecure? No, bitch, I'm fucking territorial. Now you have a choice to make. You can either go to the bar or the club, or you can be in a relationship with me, but you're not going to have both. Men are afraid to do that because women will call that an ultimatum. An ultimatum is simply when a woman does not like the choices presented in front of her. She wants to have her cake and eat it too. She wants to go off and fuck random niggas at the club, but still have the relationship.
Exactly.
And again, and I know that a lot of guys probably subscribe to this line of thinking. Hey, as long as she comes home to me, it's perfectly okay, and it is never okay. Look, put a pin in the story. We've got some super chats to read out here because this is really getting good. Nonstop Dre 360 with the $5 super chat says, I've seen too many Marines get married just to get out of the barracks. Luckily, my SNCOs told me never to get married since I served from age 17 to 21. That is a big time temptation because the barracks for a single guy, that's really like, you're living with other men. You want to live in a bigger place, dude. Wait until you get out of the military. You're a kid, man. Build that camaraderie, build those strong bonds with other men. Don't worry about the big home until you're in your 30s. The Pool Dork with the $10 super chat says, the core opened my eyes to false allegations of the sexual type and led me down a dark path of understanding. Semper Fi Devil, he says. Very good. Mr. Darkman with the $2 super chat says, just turned 21 this Wednesday, red pilled because of Big D. I appreciate that. I love hearing that stuff. Hang on a second. There was one other Nonstop Dre 360. Puts in the chat, he says, I'm happy my SNCOs looked out for me and taught me red pill knowledge before I knew what it was. So a lot of guys are very fortunate that they have mentors that help to keep them out of harm's way. So let's go back to where your story picked up. Let's pick up where we left off. So your wife is out there running around doing whatever with whoever, and you're home watching the kids. Let this be a lesson to you, gentlemen, that no matter what, when you treat a low quality woman well, she will shit on you. And again, a lot of guys ask, well, Donovan, how do you know you're dealing with a high quality female? There are many ways to tell, but one of the telltale signs is that she rewards good behavior. If she rewards it, so for example, if you yell at her, if you treat her like shit, if you're calling her names and she still treats you well, she continues to treat you better, that's a low quality woman. But if you're a gentleman to the woman, you show interest in her, you treat her respectfully, of course, after she earns it, and she treats you well in kind, then you might be dealing with a quality woman. Not to say that your woman, Dan, was not a quality woman when you met her, but clearly something changed because the better you treated her, the worse she treated you. So, so pick up right where we left off, where you're at home watching the kids and she's off doing whatever.
And remember, doing all this, I'm the primary breadwinner. The whole 22 years we were together, she never paid rent or mortgage once. Because what was the agreement? That I was a breadwinner, I would pay all the bills, she would save all of her money, max it out. Between her savings and my retirement, we'd have a great retirement together. Okay. But as Tom Likas always says, women are the cheapest creatures on earth. A woman will never spend her money when she can spend your money.
That's right.
That goes back to that BS, happy wife, happy life.
Oh, yeah.
Now, the question is, why was I being this simp? Because my mentors, the men I looked up to at my church, former Marines, guys, they would say, listen, there's an old Bible passage where a man marries a whore and she goes out and says she goes out 10 times to be a whore. You have to accept her back 10 times. That's in the Old Testament. I forget which passage it was. Right. But we're taught that we as the men have to be the bigger one. No matter what she does, you got to forgive. You got to turn the other cheek. You got to be Martin Luther King up in this camp instead of being Malcolm X when it comes to your relationship and putting down the rules in your house.
Real talk.
And this breaking point came when I finally said, I can't take it anymore. I'm in my home. I'm with my children. She has one of her girlfriends over. I got a big house. I have a big voice. I'm calling my daughter. I yell up to her. Her girlfriend says, you shouldn't talk to your daughter that way. I said, this is my damn house.
Sorry. My kids wait, hold on. So her girlfriend told you how to talk to your kid? Oh, wow.
And she took the girlfriend's side. After that, that's when it was 2016. And I packed and I went to Okinawa, Japan with the Marine Corps for a year. That was when I left the house in May of 2016. And I didn't look back.
Good.
And there was a few other stepping stones right there. The divorce started going in earnest. But even going backwards, women will choose the time and place of their choosing to break up. So
Yes.
earlier you asked me who I initiated divorce, but she broke up with me.
Yep.
I'm stationed in the Marine Corps, and she's like, I got her spoiled because we'd always take Caribbean vacations. Yeah, we had a sexy vacation. Let's take a vacation somewhere. It'll rekindle our romance. So I get a travel agent. We've been all over the Caribbean, so we go to Panama. Never been to Panama. Drop a grip. All-inclusive flights. We go down there, nice resort. We're drinking, we're screwing, we're on the beach. Everything's great. The second to the last night, we're laying in bed. She looks over to me and says, I want a separation.
What? Wow. Are you kidding me? Oh, so let me get
October 2014.
This is unbelievable. So you take her on this fabulous vacation.
Yeah.
Everything is great. Great resort. You're drinking, eating, being merry. You're fucking all that. The second to the last night, she's there. The second to the last night, you're there. She looks over at you and says, I want a separation.
And the pretense was we're going to go there and that's going to rekindle everything.
Wow.
She had the time and place of her choosing, and she knew what she was going to do when she got down there. She smiled. She enjoyed herself.
Yeah,
and
she did.
I said to her, you couldn't tell me before I dropped $7,000 on a trip. We could have done this back at home and saved some cash.
Right, but that's just it. That's just it. She wanted the trip, right? See, and you probably know this now. Your wife knew she wanted to be separated from you months before you ever took that trip.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she already knew that.
Definitely.
So when you said, hey, let's take a nice, sexy trip down to Panama to sort of rekindle the relationship, she's going to be like, all right, well, shit, fuck it. If he's paying, I'm playing. So she goes down there, she eats for free, drinks for free, blah, 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 then tells you, I think I want a separation. You want to know that is a particularly sadistic way to do it. She could have waited until you guys got back. She could have waited 2-3 weeks when you guys got back. No, she decided to rub it in your face. I'm going to tell this nigga that I want out while we're in Panama. That is the most, and again, this is why men give up on women. This is exactly why men say, dude, fuck this. I can't do it. I'm out of here. And I used to be hard on guys like that, but not anymore. When a woman pulls what she did on you, that is, oh my God, that's incredible. Big thanks goes out to Technomage B5 with the $10 super chat. Says suicidal tendencies result from failure, loss of control, and loss of faith in one's own ability to regain control in life. That's how I felt when I failed and left the Naval Academy. Okay, very good.
Big respect.
Yeah, man. Hey, you gave it a shot. Technomage B5, another $5 super chat, says, now imagine a man divorced because a woman pointed the finger at him. He really isn't allowed to recover. The system blocks him at every turn. I'm sure you've seen this plenty of times.
The system is stacked against the men. And there's a guy named Keeping It Keith out of Pittsburgh who's recovering. And he's not really a red pill or MGTOW per se. But he has one episode where he breaks down the divorce statistics very succinctly. Maybe I'll send you the link to it. And he does a great job of it. And how the system is slanted against us. So she went ahead. She said this to me in Panama. We had a whole nother 2 days we had to spend together making nice on the beach.
Oh God.
She's in her bikini. I'm in my shorts. We're drinking and trying to party, do something. The next night, I just remembered this, Donovan. We had been drinking and dancing. She comes, we're in bed. And I'm a man. I'm harder than Chinese math. She rolls over and tries to give me some. And she's horny. She's ready to go. And I'm saying, wait a minute. So if we smash right now, are we still together or are we breaking up? Says, no, I still want to break up. I pushed her off. Can you imagine the chutzpah?
Yeah, right. Like you just told me you want out, but you still expect me to fuck you. You see, this is the thing, man. And this is where women act like men. We as men, we are biologically hardwired to compartmentalize sex from feeling. Sex to us doesn't require emotion, at least not at first. When you really love a woman, sex could be emotional. For me, it's a physical act. Like I love Devin, but when I fuck her, I'm not emotional. I'm trying to get my rocks off. That's just the way it is. Women are very different in that regard. But when a woman gets to a point where she can compartmentalize sex from feelings, that means this means she has been passed around. That's exactly what that means. And for her to say, all right, I just told you I want to get separated, but I need some dick. Let's fuck. And listen, sex with your ex, and I've had sex with many exes before. Ex sex is awesome. It is the fucking best. I don't know, there's something kinky about it. But when you're talking about your soon to be ex-wife, man, that is incredible. Real quick here, Kamal Brooks with the $5 super chat says 18 years Air Force and counting, never got married, came back from Afghanistan in April. Thank you for your service, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for your service as well. Tyrone in sales says, was a young Marine who got married, regretted it after. Yeah, that's that is obviously the same story that a lot of people are talking here. Gravelite, Greg in New Jersey says, the both of you give hope to young men, and myself will be speaking out and passing it on to young men. Knowing you may not save every man, the message can prevent much more catastrophes like this. Absolutely. Danny Arnold, dude, like you gotta no, I appreciate your enthusiasm, but let's not type in all caps.
It sounds like he's yelling at us.
Well, listen. I see this guy's passion in the way he writes, and I think the reason why guys type in all caps is to get my attention and to sort of show that, hey, this is what, just in the future, Danny, I appreciate it if you just go with, capital and lowercase. He says, this is why I'm MGTOW for the time being. I don't think I want to stay MGTOW forever, but I've gone through this exact same thing with my ex-girl. I lost so much, especially myself. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man, it is. And I think just like you said, I think you're 100% right. I think that most of the time military suicide is because of their relationships or lack thereof with the opposite sex, man. So many guys in the military get screwed over. There's no way for them to really recover. They think, dude, what am I supposed to do?
And if you look at the rate of men committing suicide in the just going through the family court system, who aren't even military men, who they've lost everything. A man who can't pay child support gets sent to prison. A woman who doesn't receive child support gets to go to a shelter. There's a dichotomy right there.
Man, oh man. Fiddleford McGucket, interesting.
That's a great name.
With the $7 Canadian super chat says, Donovan, new to the space. I wanted to say thanks for all your hard work. It's really been an eye opener. Thank you very much. Fiddleford McGuckick. Pimped Out Geese, $10 super chat says, that is some stone cold calculating shiesty planning on her part. What a female dog. 7 fucking grand, then still wanted your male organ. Hell to the no. Okay, so you push her off. You're like, okay, if we're still breaking up, we'll pick up the story there. You push her off, you don't fuck her. What happens after that?
We played nice.
Wow.
If I could channel my inner Pablo and make Pablo Escobar, I would have packed everything up while she was asleep, hopped in the car, left. But no, I got to be the big man. And also remember, I'm still serving in the Marine Corps. Sure. I can't mistreat her in any way, shape, or form, because then the command will come down on me.
Oh my God.
We return home. I go back to work. I was then we get to January to 2015, and in Virginia, when you separate and you have children, you have to be separated for 1 year before filing a divorce.
Okay.
And this is where we enter the twilight zone, because the whole year of 2015, I was celibate, but the chunk of that year, talk about the level of similitude, we were still sleeping in the same bed together in the house.
Oh my God.
Big old house, complete bottom basement ensuite, but we still slept in the same bed. The last time that I hit that was January of 2015. But we stayed in the same bed February, March, April, May, all through 2015 through to 2016. While I was still being the good husband, going to church, going to my Bible studies, paying the bills, while she was being able to do her thing, making her little Rudy Poot 2 nickels while I'm carrying everything.
Now, did you want to fuck her, or did you just decide not to?
I'm a man, and I mean,
of course,
she had a nice bite. I mean, my dad still ticks me off because I bought her implants. He calls them robo tits. I don't know why you ever bought her those damn robo tits. Well, heck, she was my girl. Everything was good. I dropped $5K and bought her the robo tits. So she was looking good. And she had the nice, all the lingerie that I bought her from Germany, from all the trips. I got her all the best of everything. Oh, heck yeah, I did. But, when you get older, you can switch that off. And I was happily celibate for all of 2015 while we were working that thing out. And eventually she said, you got to move to the basement. I said, nuh-uh. My red pill is starting to come in now. I said, this is the master bedroom.
My house, bitch.
I'm the master of this house.
Right.
I stay in my bed. You can go. And she did. She went to the basement.
See that?
I had the master bedroom myself.
Good for you, man. Never let a bitch kick you out of your own house, man. Mm-hmm. Red Wraith with the $5 super chat says, heard a crazy story about how a guy's wife sent him a video of her getting banged out while he was deployed. At the end, she says, I want a divorce. Can you, just reading that, I felt something, I felt shock and pain within me. I can't imagine that. Why in the world would a woman send a video of herself getting plowed by somebody else while he's overseas? And oh, by the way, I want a divorce. I just, oh my God.
That would happen. I did 3 tours in Iraq. I did a tour in Bahrain. I did a tour in Okinawa, Japan. I was in Hawaii like you. And I was in Hawaii, and the regiment was going to Iraq. The wives are left behind. I'm working at the headquarters there. And a wife living on base got busted by the military police, her and another spouse, for doing what? Selling pussy on base housing.
What?
To the Marines and the civilian men who were left behind, while her husband is forward deployed in the combat
zone. She was fucking dudes for money while her husband was deployed.
In the base housing that he raided, yes.
Oh my God, dude. I swear to God, man. I always say this, and I'm going to stick by this. Women are neither good nor evil. That's for sure. They just are. But stories like the one you just told, stories like the one, what's the other guy, like Red Wraith just told, it really kind of makes you sort of question that. Pimped Out Geese with the $5 super chat says, and you bought her tits? He said, oh, there's a special place in hell for her.
Hey, Pimped Out, this is the thing. When we bought them, and this guy was fantastic. There's a club in DC called Camelot, which is the #1 titty bar in DC. The senators, ambassadors, congressmen all go there.
That's looking great.
So he had the big book of tits, and I picked out the ones I want. And he says, listen, you got to come back in 5 years, just like tire rotation. We have to take a look, this, that, another thing. Right. Well, that 5 years was 8 years ago, and her broke ass can't go get them tuned up.
Oh,
so I
get them titties tuned up, sweetie.
I don't know what's going to happen. Is it going to burst? Is it going to rupture? One up here, one down there. I got no clue.
What if she calls you up, Danny? My titties are fucked up. Can you help me?
And not my problem.
I ain't got it. I mean, I would, I ain't got it. I ain't got it. Black and Travel, $2 super chat says, dude, that was a scene from Jarhead. Wow. Okay.
It was a scene from Jarhead, but it's inspired by real events. I saw stuff like that happen. So truth is stranger than fiction, my brother.
Yes, you know it. Nonstop Dre 360 says, I know girls who joined the military to find a husband. That's not a bad strategy for a woman. See, again, not to say that there's military men are not a higher class, but military men have their shit together. If a guy has served 8, 10, 12 years in the military, he's got it shit together. His financial house is in order. He's probably fucked a shit ton of broads. He's seen the world. This is women like a man in uniform. They like the stability and the prestige that uniform represents. And so I'm not going to fault a woman to join joining the military to find a man in the military. But how about this? How about just make yourself findable? The right man is going to find you if you are indeed a quality woman. To me, that's that strategy.
Talk about quality women. The young people that go into our military are the best that the United States has to offer. I mean, you're from Philly, I'm from Philly. I remember a news story came out a few years ago. 70% of the kids in Philadelphia could not get into the military because they were not smart enough. They were out of shape. They had criminal records. They had drug use. They didn't meet the mental, moral, physical requirements. So people always say, my baby ain't going into the military. Well, your baby probably can't make it in to pass the test and any of that. And that goes to our women. I have 32 years in the Marines of dealing with the Marines and all the branches of service. The women I have served next to are outstanding, outstanding human beings. Okay. And they've come in, and you get wacky guys and wacky girls too. Sure. But the Marines I've served with, the female Marines I served with, have done their job They look good doing it. They have their poise. They're smart. They're energetic. And I can't say anything bad about them. And it's funny because one of the first biggest bad divorce happening of officers was a lesbian couple. The lesbian who was a commander of a helicopter squadron, her spouse accused her of abuse, and that female got her helicopter squadron snatched away from her because her wife. So it's turnabout is fair play.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
Novi 2000 with the $5 super chat says, how old were the kids during the divorce and how much did you try to stay in it with them, for them? Glad you got out okay. This actually led me to my next question to sort of move the story along.
Sure.
What happened in divorce court? So you filed for divorce and, the process starts. What happened? What happened? Who got custody? Why did they get custody, etc.?
Sure. Even though she specifically told me she wanted to be separated in 2014, everything blew up in December of 2010. Everything blew up. Oh. We stayed together trying to work it out. And that goes back to where I said, you're right. I'm a new man. I'm going to take the concrete steps to make this work. Because in 2010, my kids were, 98. One was 12.
Okay.
And the 2 were 7. We adopted a little girl so we have 2 boys natural. We adopted a little girl 7. So it's that whole thing, that pressure, stay for the kids.
Right.
But it just got to the breaking point where I had to explain to my son when he was 16, my big boy. So the divorce was finalized in 2017. So the little ones were 16 and my other son had aged out. And I pulled them one by one. And I said to my big boy, and I says, listen, me and your mom are splitting up. I did like a man. I fell on my sword. I said, I did some things I wasn't proud of. And he looked at me. He said, Dad, we all make mistakes. You're the best dad in the world. And he hugged me because kids see.
Of course, they know. They know.
My little boy, I explained it to him. Then I pulled my daughter up. Now, we adopted our daughter. She has a few challenges because she's a lower end of intelligence scale, ADHD, this and that. She said something very funny. She said, well, you guys have been married long enough. I said, what do you mean? She said that if you and Mom have been together long enough. I said, so you said if you're married for a long time, it's okay to get divorced? She said, yeah. But if you're married for a short time, it's not good. I said, no. It's better to get divorced. You should get divorced after a long. That's the way her brain, as a young developing female, is coming up.
How old was she?
She was when I told them this, 13, 14 years old.
Oh, wow. That's
around the same time I discovered her on, starting to get on social media, doing the pictures like this and stuff like that. But all told, getting back to this question about paying. So I had to pay child support, which just ended April 1st. So touch wood, I was paying $1,865 a month for the 2 kids. And I'm paying vagina-money of $1,000 a month over 5 years. So child support is done, and I've got 2 more years of vagina-money. So
2 more years, you'll be out, huh?
Pardon me?
2 more years, you'll be out, huh?
Hey, listen, it's why is divorce so expensive? Because it's worth it. Now, for our brothers in California, they have lifelong vagina-money. I'm in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
Yeah.
But getting back to the divorce courts, the child support is in the state code, and there's a formula. The father's income, the mother's income divided certain percentage. But there's nothing in the code for spousal support. And my lawyer told me, yeah, her lawyer wants you to pay for 6 years. I said, I'll give 3. We split the difference. I paid 5. But she said, you can never get a job making less money. I said, why not? Because if you're making $100,000 now and you follow your dream to be a massage therapist making $50,000, you still got to pay her the same amount of money.
God,
and that's a violation. The 13th Amendment outlawed slavery and involuntary servitude in the United States. Right. And when a man is forced to do work that he doesn't want to do, that's involuntary servitude. And the man still has to pay. But that's
incredible, man. Dude, no wonder dudes off themselves. The box, in that same vein, with a $5 super chat, says, had a friend about to kill himself at the range till he got tackled by a range coach. This was just over a girlfriend. Yeah, this is why men become violent. Dude, I had a female detractor by the name of Lisa Faye call into my show.
Yeah, I watch those.
Yeah. She was, dude, she's completely out of her gourd. I'm filing, I am taking legal action against her. Something's going to be coming down the pike for her very, very soon, probably sooner than she probably realizes. But she came on my show and said, Donovan, you incite violence. Now, obviously, that's not true. She just said that to get the keyword on my channel and get my channel taken down. But if you don't have the red pill, the men all of the men that commit the most violent, heinous acts are men who do not have red pill awareness. This guy's about to kill himself at the shooting range over a fucking girl. If that guy has red pill awareness, the red pill does not shield you from pain from dealing with women. No, the red pill teaches you how and why to move on, right? Men who do not have red pill awareness end up committing some very extremely violent acts. And I think that's been proven over. Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Let's see here. We've got Chase LeBeau's in the house with the $10 super chat. Says, thank you for your service and sacrifice. It's stories like this that confirm the red pill is the right path for me. Glad to see Danny rise from the ashes. You can't keep a Marine down. Good stuff, man. Appreciate the $10 super chat there, Chase LeBeau. Rob Cruz with the $5 super chat says, Marine wives know exactly to the cent how much we are getting from BAH and comrades. If you don't give it up, they will call the company's first sergeant. Wow, is that true?
Exactly. So the BAH, for those who don't know, stands for Basic Allowance for Housing. So all over the United States, it's cheaper and more expensive to live in certain places. So if you're in the service and you are stationed in Cherry Point, North Carolina, the government will give you a housing allowance of, say, $1,100 a month. If you're stationed in Honolulu or DC, I can say DC is one of the highest. While it's $1,100 in North Carolina, in DC it's $3,600, and that's tax-free money each month.
Jesus.
So let's say that a wife gets a military protective order on the husband. He moves out of the barracks. She still needs cash. She can look on the table. Aha, DC, $3,600 a month housing allowance. Comrades is about $140 a month for food, for subsistence. She can go to the first sergeant and they can get an automatic allotment done for that cash to come straight from his account to her account.
God, you got to be kidding me, dude.
I shit you not.
Oh my God, how is this fair? Oh my
God. And the wives network has these sea lawyers, these mother hen wives who might have been retreads, married and then remarried, who've been through divorce and this and that. And that goes into the whole thing of, you are who you associate with. So all the women that my ex would go on those parties with, she was the youngest, she was the best looking. They were widows, they were older, they were bitter. She would be the queen bee, center of attention. She'd go out, get all the free drinks. She would come home pissy drunk. I would have to help her back into the house, take her clothes off, try and get her situated more than once. Finding contraception in her car, finding panties in the center console of her car.
Fucking hell, man.
Finding itineraries. She would go on business trips, but I would do more traveling than her. And I would have, back then, was your frequent flyer number for the hotels, Marriott. Sure. I was a gold. She would use my Starwood preferred guest to stay at the Westin and things like that, so that she could be on the upgraded suite, get the big room, go to the club, get free drinks. Man. But the folio comes to me because it's my account. And I'll say, wait a minute, why were you staying in New York? You weren't supposed to be in New York. Who were you with? Dude. Oh, I was at a conference. But who were you with? Okay, I met with some guy and this and that.
Dude, this is incredible, man.
Yep.
Sorry about that. I got something in my eye and I can't.
No worries.
Some guy with a $2 super chat says, salute from Newport News, Virginia. Danny, appreciate that.
Lovely down there. Thanks, shipmate.
Absolutely. Ragnar Dennis Skajold, I guess that's from Vikings. Ragnar. $10 super chat says, my man is spot on. 25 years, 0306.
Semper Fi. That's his military specialty. He's infantry. I don't know what the 06 is. That's not a mortarman or a machine gunner. I'm not sure, but he's a combat Marine.
Okay, good stuff. I'm glad that you're here to help me to sort of decipher this. Okay, so Talk to me about what happened in family court with regards to custody. Who got what for how long, and how did that go down?
My father's my best friend, and he
Good.
came from Philly,
Okay.
and he was married twice to two black women, divorced them both, my mother and my stepmother. And then he says, I'm not getting married again. He's the ultimate red pill. He's with a woman now for the past 20 years from Shanghai, China, and they have a fantastic life together. And when he and my mother split up, he told me the story growing up in Philly. He says, he came home one day and my mother had put his stuff out in a garbage bag out in the front stoop. He took it and left. She says, I don't want you going. A few days later, she calls him, why aren't you coming home? He says, you put me out, so I'm not coming home. He had that red pill. He had the Pablo spirit. I knew as a kid, although my dad wasn't there, that he loved me. He provided for me. I could always get him on the phone. And that was back in the day. You had to make long distance phone calls.
Right,
He
right.
went back to Africa. He moved to Hong Kong. He was living all over the world, setting up the image for me. I say this because when it came time to split up the kids, my dad said, leave her with the kids. Don't fight for them. You have to take care of yourself. And one of my best friends who went through a bad divorce says, if you're okay, your kids are going to be okay.
Okay.
So you got to take care of yourself. So I didn't even fight it. One boy was grown up,
Okay.
getting out the house. The other two. So I went ahead and I agreed to it. You got the kids. We were going to do some. I would have the kids 1 week out of the month, but I moved overseas, so it was a moot issue. I sent the money. I still pay all my kids' cell phone bills. I
Good.
speak to them 2 or 3 times a day.
Oh, good. So you're in your kids.
Oh yeah, all my boys are like this.
Okay.
You see, my daughter is estranged because of some baby mama terrorist stuff that she pulled. We can get into that on the tail end of the really heinous shit that she did. But I accepted that I would have to break apart from the people that I love the most in order to take care of them. I wasn't going to win in family court.
Right.
Now, the big thing was in legal fees to my divorce lawyer, that came out to be about $65,000 over a 2-year period.
Oh my God, dude, that makes me sick to my stomach, dude. Holy fucking shit, man.
Yep.
Yep. Unbelievable. So that's actually what I wanted to end this on. Talk to me about the heinous shit that she did. Let's start with that baby mama terrorism thing, man. So I guess, and again, correct me if I'm wrong here. I think what you're talking about is she poisoned your adopted daughter's mind to hate you.
Yes.
Okay. So how did she do it? What did she do?
We're gonna start with the motive first.
Okay.
As I said, we in 2014, she says she wants to separate. We stay in the house together until 2016, at which time we're trying to be a family, and no intimacy whatsoever. And I'm not smashing anybody on the outside because the Marine Corps, the military can get you. If you're married and you're screwing somebody, that's adultery, and they'll get you for that.
Oh my God.
Yes. The stuff that people do on the outside, we're held to a higher standard.
Okay.
And I left in 2016 to go to Japan and live. In 2015, she was fucking around and caught herpes.
Wow.
She brought it into my house.
Oh my God,
She
dude.
didn't tell me.
What? So
she didn't tell our kids.
So she had herpes, didn't tell you, didn't tell her kids, didn't tell
Yes.
you kids. What
Yes.
happened after that, dude?
And that was around the same time. Remember when Ray Rice knocked his girlfriend out in the elevator?
Danny, real quick, let me I need to make a public service announcement. Guys, I know MLD is in the chat, but if you need to carry on a conversation with MLD, do that on his channel or email him. Okay. Love MLD, I love you, Ace and Spades, but you guys are having a conversation that doesn't have anything to do with what's happening here. If you guys need to communicate about what's happening with him, do that not here. You guys have let's have a little bit of respect for the platform here, guys. Come on. All right, so she brings herpes into your house. Go ahead and continue.
And it was a Saturday afternoon. She was out riding her bicycle that I had bought her, and I was driving to go pick up our little boy from summer camp 2 hours south of Virginia.
Right.
When I find the paperwork, and my head starts spinning because that was the exact same time when Ray Rice had knocked out his girlfriend in the elevator in Atlantic
yes.
City.
Yes.
And that was the first thing that popped in my head. If this cunt is here, I'm gonna knock her teeth out. God works in mysterious ways. I had that 2-hour drive by myself, clutching the wheel. I called a good buddy of mine who was a minister.
Okay.
Couldn't get a hold of him. From Philly. I called my old man to tell him, but I had to put on a brave face for my son.
Of course.
Hey, buddy, good to see you. This, that, another thing. At the same time, I'm calling all the clinics. It's the weekend. No clinics are darn open.
Oh my God, dude.
So
you're in a bad way right now.
I come back home. She's home. Hey, how was your ride? This and that. I'm just stone-faced. Monday, I get a hold of my doctor, who's her doctor. Okay. I call her up and says, listen, doc, I'm going to come on in. I need to get tested for herpes. She says, no, I'm not going to. Why not? Well, you don't have the symptoms for it. I says, I need to come in. No. I'm not going to do it because you don't have the symptoms. I said, listen, you diagnosed my wife. She has it. I got to get it done.
Right.
She goes quiet. Come on in.
See that?
I got tested. 3 days later, you get the little text. I don't have it. I'm clean as a whistle. 53 years old, drug and disease free.
God.
You get the text, and they never say positive is negative. They never have like a green light. Everything's good. I'm reading through it. I said, what the hell does this mean? Right. She says, oh, no, you're fine. You don't have anything. She had contracted HPV, genital warts, and herpes.
Oh. Whoa! So she got the human papillomavirus.
Yep.
And got genital herpes.
Yes. Oh. There was a time there I told you I would find the contraceptive. Remember in Seinfeld how Elaine had the sponge?
Yes, I remember that.
So I found it. I found one of her sponges and said, are you out there having unprotected sex? Oh. No, I'm just doubling up. I want to make sure I don't get pregnant. But she got the gift that keeps on giving.
Oh my God. This is incredible, Danny, because when you met her, she was I guess a good woman.
Like, now, remember you said women sleep around. We're gonna let's rewind a little bit.
Okay, all right.
I forget who it was that talks about women have a certain imprint in their brain of the man that they want.
Right.
From early age. And she used to tell me, well, I typically don't go out with guys like you. You're not tall enough. No. You're light skinned. I like the big chocolate brothers who are bald. She went to that school. She was in one of those proper Black women's sororities.
Right.
And you know what they do in undergrad? They all sleep.
They're all fucking. They're all fucking.
So she had done the carousel. She meets me at 20. We got married. I was 29. She was 27. Hey, he's got potential. She played it the right way. But that imprint was still in her.
Right.
Because the guy that she caught it from, and all the guys she went out with, taller than me.
There you go.
Black as coal, black like Mr. Clean dipped in chocolate. that was her thing. I was the anomaly, but she had married up to me because I came from the good family. I was international, right. And only 7% of all Americans earn over $100,000 a year.
Sure.
I was in that demographic, and I brought her up into that demographic.
Jeez. Well, listen, and even though she had a college education, even though she was intelligent, she still wanted to marry up.
Exactly.
Unbelievable, man. So what do you, and wait, real quick, shout out to Ice Dragon Kid with the $5 super chat. Says, being that I have a good job and a place to stay and she's leaving in a month, would I have a good chance of winning custody in court? Thanks again, guys. Ice Dragon Kid, I can't answer that.
I can't answer that neither.
Yeah, I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not going to pretend to be a lawyer. You got to talk to your lawyer about that one. I appreciate the super chat, but I can't.
Ice Dragon, if you're okay, your kids are going to be okay. You cannot take care of them unless you yourself are in a good place and your paper is where it should be and you have a safe environment for yourself. Put yourself first and your kids are going to be great. I know it hurts. Trust me. Take care of yourself first.
There you go. Very good. Good advice there. Oops, I skipped over one. King Life with the $5 super chat says, my ex is an army chick. Is it true? Is it true I'm supposed to forgive her if she cheats once in the army? It's an army rule, she said. No, if she cheats once, she's fucking gone. That's not
bullshit. Bullshit. Run. Go.
Yeah, fuck that. Pimped Out Geese with the $20 super chat says, geez, I feel bad with my 45,000 in family court fighting over my kids. I have no desire to relive that part of my life. Hashtag no marriage for me. I don't want to interrupt the flow, but how did you and Donovan meet up? Oh, dude, like you called into my show.
Yeah, I forget what episode it was, and it was in April because I was pretty happy because April 1st I made my first, I made my final child support payment. And I've never been a patron to anybody. And I look at you, I look at Better Bachelor,
right.
Minister Japp, Coach Greg Adams, and I was leaning towards Greg because Greg had gone through the whole family court thing. But you're my homeboy, and so I called in, and I told you my quick story, and
it resonated with me.
I became a patron right then, and I said, "Hey, I'm your newest patron." He said, "Hey, are you the brother from Philly?" Because I said, "Hey, I'm in Abu Dhabi," and we just went back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and this is where we are right now.
Yeah, like I remember when you told me just a snippet of your story. I was like, dude, I got to get this guy on because there are a lot of guys who are where you used to be and could really, really use the insight, man. So again, thank you for coming on. Andrew Carter with the $10 super chat says, Donovan, excellent show. Keep up the good work, my man. Please do not lose your YouTube channel. Men will perish without you. Thank you, Danny Chan, for your service. Love you both. I hate to break it to you, Andrew, but I am going to lose my YouTube channel at some point. It is a mathematical certainty that it is going to be gone. But if you want to keep getting my content, even after my YouTube channel is gone, because again, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, DonovanSharpe.com/newsletter. Anytime I lose a platform, I always send out emails to let you guys know where I'm at. And you can become a patron at patreon.com/DonovanSharpe because I will continue to stream my content on Sharpe Stream, which is my own platform. That's how that goes. So yeah, listen, losing my YouTube channel, I'm at a point now, and I'm very, very fortunate. It wasn't like this a year ago, but as of right now, I could lose my YouTube channel right now, and I would be just fine. I'd lose the $16 in YouTube ad revenue that I get every month. Other than that, I'd be just fine with content. I'd be just fine on support. I'll be completely okay. So
I'm surprised Terrence Pop lasted this long. And then I watched Joker's episode today talking about all the red pill content creators are slowly getting squeezed out.
Yep.
And that's why I decided I should get off the sidelines and be a patron.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Yeah, listen, my day is coming. And Joker is very, very good. He's never going to lose his channel because he is excellent at censoring himself and the content. Like that dude has it down. He is incredible.
He's dialed in.
Yeah, I can't be that guy. Like I've tried censoring myself. I just can't do it. And I'm not going to allow fear to dictate where my content is. I'm never going to stop. If YouTube takes my channel down, I'm still going to stream to sharpestream.com. So I'm not really too worried about that. Okay. So
as the aftermath of what I said, the
yes.
motive, she had contracted that medical condition, and I sat on it. I sat on that. We went to mediation. I'm still knowing this. 1 month, 2 months, 3 months go by, and we go to our first mediation session. And the mediators sit down. We're going to split this up. We're going to split that up. Initially, we were going to do this in order to save money. I said, we're not going to give our money to some lawyers. Let's do this the right way. And she agreed. We go to the mediation session. She leaves the session, and then she zooms off in her car. I'm in my car. We get home that night. I'm in bed. She gets out the shower, and she jumps in the bed with me. I'm knowing she has the herpes. But she starts slobbing me down. I said, what the heck's going on? Now, mind you, I've been celibate. It's been a year and a half. I'm not screwing her. I reach down and she's wet. I'm hard in Chinese math. She says, I'm sorry. I never gave you a good chance. Let's try again. I want to make everything right. Come on, let's start all over again. I said, you really want to? She said, yes, let's make love. I said, you really want to do this? She said, yeah. She says, I want to start again. I never gave you a chance. In all honesty, everything out? She said, yeah. I says, who gave you herpes? Said, what do you mean? I said, who gave you herpes? Yeah. She rolled off. And I'm like this, bro. I wanted to smash, but in the back of my head, I said, no. Well, I don't have it. I only have the virus. Now, we all had 10th grade sex ed.
Of course.
Herpes simplex 2 is the virus. You can't have you have outbreaks and not have outbreaks, but boys, our genitals on the outside of our body. If you have herpes, you will see the outbreaks. Women genitals on the inside, you will not. They could be having an inflammation
Right.
or a crisis and not even know it because it's deep up in their pipes. And that's when she moved down to the basement. And you talk about motive, and it was almost a year to the day. We're going to divorce.
Okay.
I've got this silver bullet. And that's when she weaponized my daughter.
Oh,
and she accused me of doing bad things to our daughter.
Oh, no. Are you kidding me?
I shit you not.
Unbelievable, man. Let me read these super chats so we can get into that. That is, oh my God, dude. Blue Lion 7342 says with a $5 super chat says, just check the stats. Female STD rates is 2 to 1 of men. Men have 25 forms of birth control, yet society tells us these women are angels and virtuous. Ridiculous. Truer words never spoken. Taboo Smash with a $5 super chat says, listening to all of this helps me to be selfish without remorse towards society in general. NB with the $5 super chat says, this is for him setting her up like that. So you absolutely, dude, you nuked her from orbit. Who gave you herpes? That pissed her off because now you know what's up. You made her look bad. Without getting into too much detail, what happened when she accused you of doing bad things with your stepdaughter?
It was 2016, and I had left the house to go to Japan with the Marine Corps. I said, I'm done. I'm going. And I had a great job making well over 100 grand, only 2 minutes away from the house.
Okay.
Doing some civilian work. I was still in the Marine Reserves at the time. It was so close. I could come home to take a shit during the day. And I was just living. I was living my life, still keeping my legs closed, not messing around with anybody. And I had to learn the hard way that there's something called a pretext phone call where someone goes to the police. So she went to the police, filed a false report. They believed her. And so she called me up one day. It was nighttime in the US, in the morning in Japan. Later, I found out it was being recorded. And she had the police right there. And she said, I know what you did. I said, what are you talking about? I spoke to our daughter. She said this, she said that. I said, you're out of your fucking mind. She said, just say you won't do it again. I said, what do you mean? If I say I did it again, that means I did it in the first place. And long story short, the authorities in Northern Virginia completely investigated, but it's not like Law and Order SVU where they'll tell you, oh, you know what, Mr. Sparks, we looked at it and everything's gone. I had to wait 2 years to find out from them that I was never charged. I was never taken into custody. I was never arrested. And the state's attorney said, this is unsubstantiated, completely unsubstantiated. My sons had to speak to police. My sons had to speak to the authorities about it. And all the while, on top of divorce bills, I had to get a criminal defense attorney. And he said, don't talk to anybody. We had to do the timeline. So it was just a horrible, and it was that summer 2016 when I hit the rock bottom. My dad from Philly lives in a beautiful home with his wife. I was in the basement staying there. I'm drinking single malt 11 o'clock every morning. I'm letting my shit go to pot. I was terrified that they were going to come roll up on me, and it never happened. And it was just to get better leverage in the divorce. Her divorce lawyer is telling my divorce lawyer, well, your client's going to get arrested any day now. Because I had that silver bullet that looking at the infidelity, she's STD positive, I'm STD negative. And at that point, I just said, I want to get out of this divorce. I'm not contesting anything at all.
Jesus fucking Christ, man. So for 2 years, you're holding your breath, waiting for the cops to knock on your door, and that never came. And you said you found out that you were never charged when and how?
It was in the divorce proceedings, and the files came from the police. So the police detective who called me never called and said, you know what, Danny, we looked into it and you're clear. They don't do that. They always want to keep you hanging on. You see,
that is incredible, man.
Exactly. Now, needless to say, I'll talk about the two different versions. You know, you got the civilian law and the military law. So the civilian, all that stuff fell apart. But then the Marine Corps had to get involved and had to do their whole investigation, which I was exonerated. but it was time out of my life. But I moved on, and that takes us right into 2017. So when I got divorced in 2017, I'm overseas. I learned about the red pill, and that's when it gets better.
Okay.
Because since I've been free, I have not gone out for a woman older than 36 years old, from 20 to 36, and the majority of them no older than 30, and they come after me, Donovan.
There you go, man. There you go. And that and see, that was actually, obviously your story was compelling, but what really sort of what got my attention about you is that you're 54, you're fucking women in their 20s and 30s. A lot of guys think, oh, I'm 45 years old, it's too late for me, 20-year-old girls aren't going to want to fuck me. Guys, I'm here to tell you, man. Dude, I got to Vegas when I was 32 years old. Dude, listen, that's when I found the red pill. I'm 38, 39 years old in Vegas, regularly fucking 18, 19, 20-year-old girls, dude. Dude, as a man in my late 30s, I was having sex with more 18 and 19-year-olds than I did when I was 18 and 19 years old.
And your late 30s aren't even your peak yet.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. I'm trying to tell you. So this is obviously a cautionary tale, but this should also serve as a tale of hope. You're 54 years old. You're fucking women in their 20s, and they are coming after you. Talk to us about that.
So another one of the Lycusisms, because women always call up Tom Likas and say, you're fat and you're ugly. So yeah, tell me something I don't know.
Yeah,
out of a scale of 1 to 10, like I said, I'm a number 1. But you know what? All a man needs to have is money, power, or fame, or the appearance of money, power, and fame.
That's right.
I don't have power. I have power over my own life. Good. I'm hardly famous, but hey, I take care of my money. I flash it, but never spend it. I never spend it. Man. I'll buy a little gift here and there, nice restaurants, things like that. But women these days, I've found out, especially from the 20s on up, there is such a paucity. There's a lack of hot, red-blooded American masculine men. Yep. If you're masculine, you walk ahead, you sit down, you order for her and yourself. Right. You don't say, oh baby, can I kiss you? Can I hold your hand? All that stuff you preach is true. They want men to take control. They want to be objectified. They want you to tell them, like you have up there, baby, wear these high heels for me. Damn right. I want you to wear a wife beater for an 8-year-old boy and high heels when you make my scrambled eggs in the morning.
Damn right. Do it. They'll absolutely do it because they want to. They've never been told this by any man in their life ever. $2 super chat from Yeshi Yahoo says, an attempt on Danny's life, the herpes. Yep. Brian Burton with the $10 super chat says, from one veteran to another, thank you for your service. This just shows you that a lot of women have no integrity. As much as I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, I just can't. So let's go ahead. Let's wrap this up here.
Sure.
And sort of put this in a bow. How has the red pill, how has finding red pill content changed your life? That's the first question. The follow-up question is, what would you advise men who are in their 20s, their 30s and 40s, and they're about to take the red pill? Talk about how your life has changed, why you think differently, why you act differently.
The red pill saved my life.
Okay.
Plain and simple. Because I've never had suicidal ideations, but I've been in the dark place. When a man, like that one super chatter said, when a man loses control, because we want to solve problems, we want to fix problems, we want to be rational and reasonable, we want to be logical. But when all else fails, then we go to that dark place, and some brothers slip and they take that ultimate step. It's a permanent solution to a temporary problem. And God bless my father, who's my best friend, who kept me on the straight and narrow, because they expect you to snap. They want the man to snap, go yell at the wife, smack her around, make threats in the divorce court. The red pill, stoicism, solitude helped me to keep calm so that I wouldn't snap and do something stupid in divorce court where I would wind up. So, and I would tell all young men that you do not know your value. America does not teach men what our value is. Okay, I'm 54. A man's peak earnings potential doesn't hit until about 62 years old.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
At 20 years old, you don't know anything. At 23, 28, you think you're on top. Yeah, I'm making 40, 50 grand a year. Let me settle down and get a girl. You have not scratched the surface of your potential, young men. Know your value, and your value gets more and more potent as the years go by. The women's potency is from 15 to 22, and then they make their descent. We keep going up.
That's
and
right.
Just stoicism, eat right, take care of your body, avoid drugs, do good things, associate with good people, surround yourself with people like Donovan and me, because steel sharpens steel.
That's right.
You have to associate with other men who are going to help you to become better. And by doing that and doing no harm to people, walk away from a woman. I've walked away from good pussy, fantastic pussy. Woman says, I don't feel it anymore. I'm like, there's the door.
All right. I'm out.
There's the door. That's my advice to the young men right now. And I'm particularly paying attention to what you're teaching, Donovan, because I know a young lady right now who has the potential in my mind. I care for her deeply. For LTR, the commitment word has never come up, but she's extremely, extremely special, and I'm the happiest guy in the world for having met her. But I'm not going purple. But he might say, you're turning purple pill. I said, no, not in the slightest. But I will acknowledge a quality woman when I meet one.
Absolutely.
And I got to give props where props is due.
Yeah, put her through her paces, man. If she wants that commitment from you, she's got to earn it. That's for
damn right. And that's what you taught me recently. They got to earn it.
That's right. Don't give anything away for free, man. Technomage B5 with the $20 super chat says, just a salute to Danny and all the veterans in here. Thank you for your service. You make it possible for the rest of us to have some semblance of freedom despite the system. With that, hell of a show, Dan. I cannot express my gratitude enough for you coming on and just giving us these words of wisdom. I like for men like yourself to talk to the younger guys and let them know, guys, it's not too late. Like, life doesn't end at 45. It doesn't end at 50.
Nope.
Here at 54 years old, you're probably more content than you've ever been in your life. And obviously you're a living proof of that. So again, thank you very much for making an appearance on the show. Listen, feel free to call in at any time, my friend.
Oh, listen, I'm a bad penny. You're my brother from another mother. As soon as the flights start flying, I come back home, I'm gonna find you, and we're gonna go to Jim Steaks on 62nd Street.
There you go.
All right.
Good
shit. And we're gonna meet up. I owe you a first round of drinks. You have done so much to help me to improve in life, and I'm still learning. Thank you. You're doing the Lord's work.
My pleasure, man. Danny Chan joining us. I appreciate him. Pardon me. I appreciate him coming on to the show, guys. That's gonna do it for this special Saturday edition of TSR Live. Again, I will be back on the air on Monday at 3:30 Eastern, 12:30 Pacific. Thank you all for joining us, and we will see you on Monday. Take care.